In the friendly confines of my office today, y'all, we have an epic tire review, the hybrid tire review today. That is right. Hope you're doing great. And we're talking Nitto and Toyo, a sister company that has two unbelievable hybrid tires. Now, you may be asking your boy, what is a hybrid tire? Well, you have all-terrain. This is most exclusively for our truck segment. So you have an all-terrain tire like a Toyo Open Country AT2 or 3. You have a Nitto Terra Grappler and Recon Grappler. Many other brands as well, BF Goodwrench, there's just a lot of them, Falcon, and the list goes on and on. But today's video is exclusively about the hybrid tire segment because it's so popular in that it looks like a mud terrain tire but acts like an all-terrain. So the new one on the block is the Toyo Open Country RT Trail. Used to be the Toyo Open Country RT, which is still out and still a hybrid tire, but the Ridge Grappler has been so successful for so long now. It's been the #1 tire across the entire country, but especially here at our dealership for a long time. It's just because it looks so good. It's got that balance of aggressiveness, but also very quiet road quality, very minimal road noise, and very good success on-road and off-road. So this tire is the OG. It's been around. It kind of started that hybrid tire trend. Now, also, there are many other hybrid tires in the market today. Maxxis has a new one. There's several that are diving into this segment with popular hybrid tires because of the results of exclusively and mainly this one right here. So when this Ridge Grappler came out, they had the RT Trail. This was their direct competition for the Ridge Grappler, and this was kicking this one's butt. I still do love this tire a lot. You got a 3-ply sidewall versus a 2-ply sidewall here. This tire here has just more characteristics of a mud terrain tire, but it's still very quiet on road, but just gives you better results in snow and mud than the Ridge Grappler, but just has that, it has an old school feel to it. The tread, but especially the sidewall there, just has a old school, it works so well because the tire is just so successful overall integrity wise. So the RT, been around for a while as well, but then I'm always like talking to Toyo at SEMA, other places, meetings, etc. And like, look, you got to come out with a new rendition on the RT, one that will kind of balance out the results and people purchasing this one so much. So voila, you have the Toyo Open Country RT Trail. It's nothing different, just added trail on the end of it. So looking at sidewall comparison, you know, you went from that retro, as I was calling it, that retro old school sidewall to just a more modern but still very aggressive sidewall. This sidewall also looks very similar to the Toyo Open Country AT3 all-terrain tire. And the biggest thing about this video too is just helping you decide which tire you need. Do you need a hybrid tire? Do you want it to be quieter? Do you need more off-road performance? So then you might want to go to a true mud terrain tire. So this video is about the hybrid tires, but if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, please. The algorithm loves it, and hit that subscribe button as well. That way we can make sure everyone like you sees this informational video. But also, I like to run it back with our most popular all-terrain tires and then mud terrain tires. We've done that in the past, so check those out. But just a refresh in 2023 would be a good thing. So I've been all over the place. Let's get back right here. Nitto Ridge Grappler. The Ridge Grappler hybrid tire is for that customer that doesn't mind sacrificing, you know, 5,000 to 15,000 miles of overall longevity because there is no tread life warranty on the Ridge Grappler. Just because it is kind of in that mid segment, the all-terrain tires from Nitto do give you a tread life warranty, with a very strong warranty at that. But we've seen this one, even with no warranty, the Ridge Grappler, experienced in that 40 to 60,000 mile. That's a typical lifespan. Now, we have seen some that reach the 70,000 mile mark on the Ridge Grappler. That's not typical. Typically, it's 40 to 60,000, which is great for a tire that looks so aggressive. Now, obviously, too, once this gets wore down more, all tires in general, it's going to have a little bit more road noise. It's essentially because you're getting the tread wore down and you're getting more spacing. Ridge Grappler is for that customer that wants a tire that looks amazing while they are going to sacrifice a small, minute amount of overall comfort and drivability and road noise slightly. We're talking ever so slightly, a very small percentage. And that's the thing, most of the time it's not big enough of a difference between an all-terrain and this tire, between the comparison to go to an all-terrain. They want the more aggressive look, and it just makes the truck look better, so they go with a Ridge Grappler. So jumping next door to the Open Country RT Trail. Let's just compare the shoulder lugs on the side here. So they look very similar. I see more spacing slightly between each lug in comparison to the RT Trail. I do see stone ejectors in between each as well, just to help eject those stones as rapidly as possible. But you've got wider spacing on these outside lugs for better off-road grip. And if you look at the middle lugs, the spacing is slightly more narrow, even over here as well, just ever so slightly, to basically just give you, tone down that road noise or amount of there. But just looking at the side shoulder lugs here, they look very similar. You have separate ones here, the alternating, so this one's more blocked off, not quite as long, just like there. And then you go a little bit wider, a little bit wider. So the side lugs there, the shoulder lugs, are very, very similar, and they are both alternating. So this one sticks out more than this one. It's the alternating factions for just better overall off-road traction. You can see the same thing. So you got alternating shoulder lugs there. And just basically water dispersion is very good too. This here is for mud, snow, water dispersion as well. Now, when you get this tire wore down to that first shelf right there, that's a wear mark notation to take a look at. But again, this one here, the Toyo Open Country RT Trail, gives you a 45,000 mile tread life warranty. So typically the Toyo tires have a little bit harder rubber compound from my experience. The Nitto tire even gives you great mileage. It just seems to be a little bit softer compound overall. And the Toyo, it just seems to be, to me, a little bit harder compound, and it seems to last a little bit longer. Side note here, had a customer in here the other day that had Toyo Open Country AT2 Extreme on a Super Duty, 90,000 miles. That's right, 90,000 miles on a true all-terrain Toyo Open Country AT2 Extreme. That's the old school way to do it. Lee Christian loves to run that tire too. So that's one to go to too. But again, that's a distinct, separate all-terrain tire, not the hybrid tire. So there are some differences. I'm just trying to help you. I hope I'm not confusing you too much, you all, but thanks so much for watching this today. So just looking at the comparison of just the tread pattern, the facing of the tread, they look very similar. You've got very jagged tread on the center there, just like here. Jagged edges, different tread patterns all the way for great overall traction, especially off-road, and then side shoulder lugs. These, just look at these side by side. They look very, very similar. I would say the Ridge Grappler, the points on the middle lugs are more pointy and a little bit more jagged than this one. This actually looks very more similar to the Nitto Recon Grappler, that true all-terrain tire. So all are very similar, but there's no doubt that this tire looks distinctly different than this predecessor, the Toyo Open Country, just a straight up RT. You can tell here that there is more spacing in between this area and just more void overall in this. So this will be slightly noisier from our experience than the RT Trail, and of course this one. These two here, from our experience, we don't have anyone that's gotten more than, I say, 50,000 miles on this one, and he's still got good tread left. But these two tires here seem to be very comparable, and we're going to go outside in just a minute and take a look at both of these tires on our employee and customer vehicles, so stay tuned for that. Very similar between these two. The RT is going to be, if you abuse your truck off-road more as far as going over rocks or just jagged imperfections in the road, this is going to give you a more confident platform as far as going off-road and getting better traction. You can even tell the tread depth is a little bit deeper on these, but just overall better off-road because this tire was made to simulate more of a mud terrain characteristic than these two. Sidewall, you got the more aggressive, or you got the more retro sidewall. On the Ridge Grappler, you got two different. So you got this has been a truly iconic sidewall for the Ridge Grappler, that jagged Raptor-like sidewall tread pattern. You can come over to the other side, you can flip it, and you got more of a squared off sidewall look. Looks more like a Nitto Trail Grappler, that dedicated mud terrain tire. And again, on the Toyo Open Country RT Trail, one side here, sidewall looking very nice and aggressive, and then same thing here. It's a slightly more stuck out look overall. So two great sidewall choices between both trucks, tire offerings, and then this one's more of a retro thing. If you're building like a retro, old school truck, maybe a great option. Broncos, we love them. Raptors, we love to run this tire too. But we've just seen the latest and greatest tire technology be found in the latest and greatest from Toyo and Nitto. Two great tires. Now let's pull up some technical info. I don't want to bore you too much. We'll pull up on this screen, review, then we'll go outside. First, love to see the tread pattern rolling. This is the Toyo Open Country RT. This is 37, 12 and a half, 20. So this is big boy status. It measures out not quite 37, but right at 12 and a half wide and 20, the RT. Up is the Nitto Ridge Grappler roller right here. Been the #1 tire for us for so long. We're about to show you a few examples of this in a minute. This is a 325/60/20. 325/60/20. It's a 35 and a half inch tall tire by 13 wide. So this is that sweet spot equation of, it's not a 35, 12 and a half, 20 is about to show you, is like a 34 and a half by 12 and a half. This is a 325/60/20, which means it's 35 and a half inches tall by 13 wide. So you want a little bit more height than width, this is the size to go with. Lastly, the new Toyo Open Country RT Trail. Now look right here. It's just 35, 12 and a half, 20, 325/60/20. An inch, not as tall, 34 and a half by 12 and a half. So you got 35 and a half by 13, 34 and a half by 12 and a half. So a metric tire size, 325/60/20 or 35, 12 and a half, 20, there are distinct differences. No matter the tread pattern or what, you have some options. Looking at some tech specs of the Ridge Grappler, you see off-road performance is a 4. If you look at off-road traction, which is the same thing on the RT and the trail, they're both 4.5. So off-road does perform a little bit better. You got tread life and dry handling, 4.5 to 4. So dry handling looks better on the Ridge Grappler than wet performance at a 4.5, and then a 4 on the RT and a 4.5 on the RT trail. So there's trade-offs across the board. It just depends on what you put a precedent on. And then winter handling, 4 for the RT and 4.5 for the trail. So making some improvements, but look, quietness, 4 here, quiet ride, 3.5 on the RT with a 4 on the trail. So as I mentioned, that RT being of 3.5 shows that, as I mentioned, that tread pattern is a little bit, has a greater void and just a little bit more of a mud terrain characteristic. So it's gonna be slightly noisier overall. And then fuel efficiency, this RT trail gets a 3, and then ride comfort a 3 overall in comparison to ride comfort a 3.5, 3.5. So by this, saying Toyo is gonna ride a little bit more comfortable in general. And then sizes for the RT goes from 15 to 24, 2 sizes in the 24 segment. Then the RT trail, again, from 16 to 24, 3 sizes here, a little bit more sizes overall available for that. But the most is gonna be definitely by far the Ridge Grappler now, just because it's been around for so long. 16 to 24, 4 sizes in 24, all the way up to a 38, 13.5, 24. Lots of sizes, lots of characteristics, and great ride quality. All the stuff that I mentioned found here on both websites. Check it out at nittotire.com or toyotires.com. First example is going to be our Everest edition with the Ridge Grappler. 38, 13.5, 22. I mean, I told you the Ridge is super popular for us. We run it all the time. 38s, baby. And the recurring theme is going to be Ridge Grappler. I'm telling you, you won't see very many of the RT Trail. It's a newer tire, but there'll be a few out here to show you. But there you go again. Ridge Grappler, leveled on 35s. You got 6-inch lift, Everest edition. Ridge Grappler, 35, 12.5, 22. Roush's partnership with Continental, so they have the General Grabber ATX, their all-terrain tire, BFG, KO2, tried and true, been around for forever. Covered edition, Gladiator, Ridge Grappler. Can you imagine? Again, Roush Performance Trucks, General Grabber ATX. Don't really like the tire, honestly. The sidewall is not aggressive enough, even for an all-terrain. Has a little bit of a retro vibe to it. And the tread pattern itself is just not as good of looking as I would like, but it performs very well. Looks are a big part of it, but the performance is the most important, and that definitely has some good performance aspects to it. The Nitto Recon Grappler, you heard me talk about the Recon, so that sidewall looks like the AT3 and the RT Trail from Toyo, and even the tread pattern kind of is very similar, but that's a dedicated all-terrain tire. I know it's confusing, so many options, but I guess the biggest thing is if you got questions after watching this steel, you just got to hit your boy up. I'll make it happen for you. Hugo's bad boy right here. God, Hugo is a great guy. Look at him right there. There he is. There's Hugo. Look at him. On the Ford Raptor Indo Edition, again, the Nitto Recon Grappler, that tire that kind of looks like what we've been talking about, the hybrid renditions, but a true all-terrain tire from Nitto. One thing about Akins Willies, you'll see tons of different wheel and tire combos every single day. It's just great stuff. Again, Nitto Ridge Grappler, 295, 6520, leveled on 35s. Chris's son from New York, again, Nitto Ridge Grappler, even on a 450. So you've seen us run it many different types of vehicles, from big 450 to F-150. Jason Setzer's truck, Nitto Ridge Grappler. Got Bud's beautiful Snazberry Jeep Gladiator Apex, looking amazing. And look, Bud's rolling strong, 38s, Nitto Ridge Grappler. Now right here next door is another guy that works for us at Willies, Chad Ham. This is his Mojave, and he is rolling on the Toyo Open Country RT Trail. Looking great. 35, 12.5, 17. Let's go. Told you about the Toyo Open Country RT, that old school hybrid tire, the original from Toyo. There it is on a Bronco Apex. So that's it. I hope this review was informational. I hope it was interesting. I hope it was a pleasure to watch. If you stayed here and watched this whole thing, let me know, because I want to send you something. If you're watching all the video from start to finish of your boy Real Deal, country boy from Georgia, talk about stuff in the automotive industry, I got to give you some love. So again, thanks so much, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a like as well. I'm going to bring you more stuff as far as reviews and informational, as far as tires, some of our lifts, and anything else that I can just add value for you all in the automotive industry. I'm Real Deal Neal, so I got to back up what I say by giving you great stuff on the daily. Catch you next time. Peace out.